Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Podcast, episode 107. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
We have a very fun episode today.
Yeah, it's a Zach and Mike talks about guns rant.
Eric gun rants, legally distinct.
Yeah.
So we're going to be ranking the weapons of the Imperium, but I luckily said let's hone that down to...
infantry guns.
Yeah, guns that infantry use.
Technically, there's some
real loose...
This should not be an infantry weapon. This should be on a ship, but...
But Space Marines are strong. So, without any further ado, let's jump into something we're going to regret.
Sounds good.
All right, where do we want to start off?
Probably just go with like the Lasgun or the Laspistol or something like that.
The Lasgun is the classic. Let's start with it.
That's the sci-fi guard weapon.
Yeah, I'm in a sci-fi universe. I need a laser gun. We have to know we're in sci-fi. You need a laser gun to know you're in sci-fi.
It's true. I mean, Star Wars has kind of hammered that into the zeitgeist of you gotta have your pew-pew laser weapon.
I did, going into this, read up on all of my Imperium weapons at a base level again to make sure I understood everything and could tell you the differences to everything.
Okay, well, we'll see, because I feel like I know a good amount about weapons comparatively to the rest of the lore. Like, I know some real weapons and I know some of this stuff, so like you probably know more. But
also, for when we talk about these from a real life perspective, we're going to mention how silly certain weapons are from a design standpoint. We're not going to hold it too much against them because 40K is absurd.
I mean, it could be used as a positive. Nonsense is fun.
Eric is a true red-blooded American and has fired a gun in his life.
Yeah.
I technically have on at least like 3 occasions, but like we're talking about a hunting rifle, not like going shooting.
You didn't go to the shooting range in college, did you?
Never did.
I guess I just assumed that you were there at least one of the times.
I did get to listen to our buddy's 2-hour rant on why the 1911 is the greatest gun God ever invented.
Yeah, that happened a couple times.
I also know to insult the 1911 if you ever want to start a fight.
It was a year.
I think the Lasgun is just classic A-tier goodness through and through. Like, it's so correct in this setting.
The setting wouldn't be complete without it. It would be disappointing to see the setting without the Lasgun.
It doesn't fire like a little bolt of light like it would in Star Wars.
It's not a laser pointer.
Yeah, it's you zap a line between here and there is now atomized. I also like the versatility of it. Sometimes it gets displayed as the flashlight, and then other times you see how absolutely brutal it can be of like just deleting a man's arm off.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, there's, we'll get further into it, but like some of these other guns are deleting people.
Some of them you wish you got deleted instead.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's not the most powerful thing.
But it's so perfectly designed.
So iconic. I would put it a little bit lower, but like, I think A tier is right. It's just perfect, but it's not overachieving.
Shall we piss off a large section of our audience right away, or should we bury the lead a little further and do something else?
I'm fine with whatever you want to go with on next one. I figured we just had to start with at least the Lasgun, right?
Yeah.
You want to move on to something simple? We'll just hit the shotgun.
Okay. The shotgun is lame.
I agree. What the hell?
You're in the far distant future. It's not a bolt shotgun or anything. It's a shotgun. Like, reading up, scouts use normal shotguns that fire slugs.
And how the hell did they make it look less cool than real life shotguns? They're all kind of the same fat, vertically shotgun kind of thing. Like,
the shotgun is very dumb.
It's got no elegance to it, really.
My favorite part is when I was doing my double check, I read through for a lot of these. I just did a quick glance at the wiki to make sure that my knowledge matched like general tier 0, no interest knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And for the shotgun, it mentioned like Space Marine shotguns have the ability to fire between semi-auto and auto. This has a pump action on my picture that they use as the example right next to that.
I think most of them have that pump as well.
Which I understand the British don't understand guns. I realize that there will be many funny comments of people pointing out how how silly certain guns are built in the art where it would make no sense. I can't do that, but I get that. But the like base level of a pump action shotgun is not semi-automatic or automatic.
And like there's some coolness about, you know, you have the slide, but again, like the way that these are all designed, it's not elegant. Like it doesn't have any of the, you could have the old school shotguns that have like the break action kind of stuff, or you could have like the more modern, like sleek tactical kind of shotguns.
I just want a Spaz 12.
Yeah, I was like, a Spaz 12 is like, that's a cool fucking shotgun. What the hell did you do to it? Why did you make this? I think it's a D tier.
Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't have to argue you down there.
Yeah, and like there's dumb kind of shotguns out there that have a bunch of like stuff to them, and they look cool. Like they're impractically cool looking.
Yeah, just the fact that the shotgun has no stock. I get that a Space Marine is holding it, so it shouldn't require one.
I don't care. It's a shotgun.
But like, it's so sad to see a shotgun with just a little stubby handle.
Yeah, D tier, man. Get better.
So, let's do something a little more actual sci-fi feeling again. Let's cover some AdMech. Let's talk about the Arc Pistol.
Fucking tasers, man.
So this is neat, because arc weapons is not just Emperor Palpatine lightning, right? They are, you spawn a lightning bolt between it and your target. It's a bang.
Essentially, yeah. It's like a Zeus lightning bolt.
Yes. It's not like a sizzly, like you think from Star Wars, where it's like you gotta hold it for a minute before they start taking the damage. It's like a boom, Wrath of God thing.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the arc pistol, I know it's not as strong as the proper arc rifle and all that, but like, it's kind of badass looking. I love the style points it's got.
I agree, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, when you look at the normal arc rifle, it's nice, it's elegant, but it's downplayed, whereas the arc pistol is like hilariously overdone.
Yeah, the arc rifle looks like it's like, okay, this is ignoring practicality of actual science. This looks like a fine weapon. This looks like something that was designed with a purpose, and we'll get to it. But the arc pistol is like, we took steampunk and made it fun.
It is funny while we're discussing these. While I'm ranking this high tier, if you were to go on the terrible wiki, the 40K fandom wiki, right? That's like huge. Your average 40K gun, if a Space Marine has ever touched it once in history, has about 5 paragraphs minimum describing it. And then talking about the Externus Super Deluxe Mega Edition XIVVIQ-14, which was used in the Siege of Vrak by Officer Tiddlywinks in the book from 1998. And it was mentioned once as an offhand thing.
All right. Where are you going with this?
That's what your average Space Marine one looks like. The entire arc weapons have like 2 sentences.
Really?
Because they're AdMech, and they're newer because AdMech itself is newer for actually having plastic sold.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very minimal by comparison, to the point where it's like, I just told you how it works. That's half its wiki article.
Wow, that's I mean, I guess I get it.
I very much understand why.
It doesn't have enough of like the random books from like, you know, the 80s, 90s. But that's disappointing because it is very cool. And like, you know, you can just look on some of the YouTube videos for like high energy electric arcs. It's fucking frightening.
So, real life thing, I work in factories a lot, or used to work in them more. I still work around them. If you've ever seen aluminum welding done with a spot weld robot, they're very high energy welds because aluminum does not like to melt.
No, that is one of the reasons that it was so expensive for so long.
So when you do aluminum welding, it has to be very high voltage. Mm-hmm. So you have a spot weld robot that has a single bite jaw. It's like a one-tooth jaw, right? If you get water on your part and it fires the weld, you hear a very loud explosion from across a plant.
Yeah.
And then you go investigate why everything is stopped. And I have a picture on my phone. I don't think I can legally share certain things from my work, but I can describe describe this to you. It is a picture of a part to a vehicle, and there's a hole the size of like larger than a quarter, like close to the size of like the top of a Coke can, right? Like a sizable circle missing, and just like a blast radius around it from where this thing exploded from water leaking onto it and then the firing.
Yeah, dude.
High voltage is scary.
It is extremely scary, and it's hilarious because, like, you know, we see like normal people experience lightning, right? Like that's a thing, but it happens over there, you know, like, oh, yes, that lightning strike was way the fuck over there. Wow, that looked very cool. Kind of loud now. When it's like right next to you and it's one of those high energy things, it is amazing how your entire body physically feels energy in the air from the discharge. Like all the hairs on your body, your arms, your legs, your eyebrows, your fucking nose hairs, it's all like static, just charged and freaking out. It is very, very frightening. So the fact that a pistol is supposed to be able to do something like that, and it's not just a short range like taser, like handheld taser. It's not one of those like,
which would be way lower tier to me.
Which, yeah, like that would be okay. That's cool. I get it. You know, you got your cattle prod and we just souped it up. This is fucking shooting it, and it is not realistic at all, but so fucking cool.
Like, I think all of the arc weapons are going to be high tier. To me, this is the highest at S tier because the design of the pistol version is the coolest of them.
Ooh.
And I think they're all high tier, but this one goes above and beyond the others to me.
I am okay with that for now. I haven't fully thought out the rest of my thoughts on everything else, right? Like,
okay.
I've got like rough ideas. We're in like A, S tier, like somewhere in there. Once we figure out like...
If it falls to A, it falls to A, but for now.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's definitely up there. I want to do another pistol.
Okay, which one?
I want to do the Neovolkite Pistol.
Okay,
Do you know what the Neovolkite Pistol is?
Yes, I do. This is one I was actually going to save for later because it requires me to give you a lecture on both plasma and meltas.
We can push it. That's fine. I'm good with that.
As much as you were going to meme, I actually am prepared for it.
Okay, that's fair because I want to hear your opinion on that Neovolkite, plasma, Lasgun, all that stuff. So
I can't wait to talk to you about how meltas and plasma work as a physicist.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. So okay, then what do you want to go into then first?
Let's talk about something that I think is a little lame, which is the Melta pistol, which is called an Inferno Pistol. It's kind of aggravating to me.
It's aggravating to you. I think it fits the setting very well.
In that it's maximum stupid.
In that it is a Melta weapon, which you want to get into?
Sure, we'll talk about what a Melta is. For those unfamiliar, Meltas are the most ill-defined of weapon types the Imperium has to offer. In books, as someone who reads a lot, well, listens to a lot of 40K lore through books, a Melta firing is so ill-defined, and it's like half the time the authors are like barely comprehending what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, and if you read like the wiki for this, it's also bullshit on how it tries to argue something. But anyway, it is superheating. It's basically using the plasma thing that we'll get into, where it is using a mini nuclear reactor to superheat promethium, which is the napalm of 40K. It's their catch-all fuel / napalm. It is superheating it at a subatomic level until it becomes a plasma like a plasma gun, but it's made out of flamer juice instead of like hydrogen or something. And then it fires it as a superheated spray.
Well, more like a beam.
Like a goober.
Yeah.
Like a snot.
Yeah.
And that will eat through anything that it fires through.
But it's not like a, you know, like your flamethrower kind of thing either. Like,
well, it's more like a real life flamethrower, which is why it annoys me that on the wiki they're like, it has more in common with plasma than a flamer. And I'm like, no, this is you not understanding how flamethrowers work. You're throwing the gas and then it's on fire.
And then it's on fire. That's, yeah, basically how that works. But like from what I kind of vaguely understand, again, it's not real. Like,
yeah. I don't even hate the idea of meltas that much.
No, it's kind of neat. It's just, I get the difficulty in trying to like figure out how it's different from a beam of plasma or a jet of fuel that's lit on fire.
Yes, and in books, a lot of the times there's a flash of light and the thing in front of the guy with the Melta is gone now and is smoldering hot stuff on the ground, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's often described. Meltas are fine. My problem is the Inferno Pistol. You have an anti-tank weapon and you took all the fight out of it to pistolify it so that you could have it as a sidearm.
Right. And because you smallified it, you lowered its maximum output essentially because it was trying to use, like nuclear energy and promethium and all that stuff. So you can only fit so much in space. So you made it super low range.
Low range and lower power overall. For an anti-tank weapon.
It does nothing then as like a sidearm.
Yeah.
Right, like this is a pistol. It's a sidearm. Why would you want this anti-tank, low range that isn't actually able to really puncture through any armor that you're trying to get?
The only time I've seen Inferno Pistols get used in like gameplay perspectives is on Sanguinary Guard. Something that is supposed to unga bunga up close, fire their Inferno Pistol once, and then swing with like power axes or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, and then actually finish closing to melee.
It gets a minor excuse there. I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever, but I'm saying if you argue above a C, I'm putting a stop on it.
I think it is a C just because it fits so well.
The stupidity saves it, where it's like, that's 40K, being stupid.
It feels more to me like having a sword and a modern commander, where it's like, the fuck is that for? That's stupid. But all right, like you're not expected to ever use it. It's just there, and I'm okay with that Inferno Pistol just being there. All right, Brad, I want to talk about one that's on this list, and I don't know why it's on this list, because we're talking about...
A World War II weapon?
No, we're talking about an infantry ranged weapon thing. Why do we have the heavy stubber on here?
Yeah, this is like, it is the high stretched end.
No, like realistically, what infantry ever actually use it?
So in guard, heavy infantry squads use it.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have heavy stubbers there.
I mean, it does kind of make sense to a certain point of like, yeah, guard would be the ones to have like, okay, set up the tripod. Yep. You got your spotter, you've got your actual gunner. It's like this is your troop of specialized, but I didn't know that they actually, because it's not a portable weapon.
It's a more portable weapon than several others on this list. The problem is it's not a portable weapon and it doesn't delete God. Space Marines will make non-portable weapons portable if it means that it deletes God.
Yeah, because a stubber is just a gun.
It is like literally a 50 cal heavy machine gun. That's what a stubber is.
It might be slightly bigger than that just because 40K.
It is in the auto gun classification of 40K of like it fires normal bullets like a normal old school gun.
Yes.
It is very real life. I know that the like example one I grabbed looks like it's got parts from two guns I have seen in video games before. One is a light machine gun with the over bar that you hold on to, but then the front almost looks like a bar's cheese grater.
Yes. Yeah, the cheese grater. Exactly.
The cheese grater. The most important part of a gun is a cheese grater.
That's how you know it's actually serious.
The point stands. It's a normal gun. Now, here's my problem. I love the Mighty Stubber. It's a bad gun in 40K. That's the joke. It's like a 501 terrible ass gun gameplay wise because it's just a modern day weapon that they put on like vehicles or heavy weapon teams use them, stuff like that. It's supposed to be the like, this is how useless your modern day shit is.
401.
Oh, it's 401. I'm sorry. For some reason it was 501 in my head.
It's awful. It's a pistol.
It's basically a bolter. Yeah, I love it though. It serves a very specific purpose in the setting.
It's such a obvious, like, all of these other guns are fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
Because the weakest of them is this, which is a big fuck off real gun.
Technically, the Lasgun is weaker, but like the Lasgun is an actual infantry weapon that you could sling over your shoulder.
I think it might be B tier just because it's so out of place but needed.
I wanted to put it in B. I figured you'd argue me down to C, but okay, I am going to take my win.
Yeah, I kind of just like it. It's nice to have a real weapon.
From a gameplay perspective, it's also a very fun weapon happen because every Custodes player, every one of them, will remember with fear also, I've got my Stubber. Because the Lascannon failed to kill a Custode, but you've got that Custode on 1 wound, and he forgot 3 shots of Stubber, and we all know what by some miracle happened.
It's still shots, man. You still gotta roll those saves.
I think Stubbers have killed more Custodes than anything in existence.
It's possible. I mean, bolters...
Destiny wills that a Custode will fall to a random Stubber shot.
Yeah, and they deserve it too. What do we want to move on to next? Probably one of like the core...
Okay, we should round out the core ones so that we've talked about everything once. The Flamer is my beloved, but let's start with the Heavy Flamer.
We're going to go with the Heavy Flamer, huh?
The Heavy Flamer is probably the most memed weapon that non-40k people will know just from like the old Russian Badger. Get the Flamer, the Heavy Flamer.
Yeah, I remember that as well, yeah.
You just have to search for a Heavy Flamer gif and that thing pops up immediately.
Brother, get the Flamer, the Heavy Flamer. Yeah, throwing Prometheum around on fire.
Yeah, it's just a normal idea, but cranked up to 11 through sci-fi bullshit. And the Heavy Flamer is literally, what if we had 2 flamethrowers?
I feel like that's the one that
makes it stupider.
It does. It makes it so much stupid, especially because it's like overslung.
Mm-hmm. Well, that one's underslung. Oh, wait, no. It's hard to tell with how that Terminator's holding it.
I think it has to be because, like, you've got the igniter and then you put another barrel of Prometheum on top of it.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I thought you meant on the Terminator.
No. I like the actual gun.
Yeah. So instead of like a left-right, it is vertically 2.
And then you put another one on top of it, which one, you still have to like ignite that one correctly, you know, but well, maybe not. Maybe you're just going to throw the Prometheum at them and it'll light on fire from the other flaming Prometheum.
Because of the lower flame, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's fine, inefficient, and dumb, but like... It's even more irritating to me just because of like thermals. That gun is going to melt itself within seconds. Right? Like, it's got no ability to deal with heat because it's got another one on top of it.
Yeah, they're like unibody because of the one I'm using is from the new Terminators.
Like, thermals are already going to be a fucking problem on all of these flamers. But this is like, let's make the design as fucking stupid as possible.
All right, how low do you want it? I put it up here as sacrifice so that my beloved flamer doesn't get flamed.
I think it's probably a C.
I am totally fine with that. The Heavy Flamer is not the Flamer. They're very different to me.
No, they are. And similarly different than the Hand Flamer. We'll get to that one. What do we want to hit next?
All right, we've waited long enough in the episode. We can piss everybody off. It's time for the Bolter. And by the Bolter, I mean bolt rifles, bolt carbines, bolt I don't cares.
Guardian Spears.
If it's not a bolt pistol and it's not a heavy bolter, it's in this category. They're all here. Everyone is here. It's Super Smash Brothers.
The bolt guns. Like, all of them that are just bolters.
So I do happen to know of a certain gun that the bolter is basically accidentally based off of. Thankfully, because I obsessively watch other people play video games, I've learned about the gyrojet and that it was a very stupid gun because it turns out that firing a rocket is worse than firing a bullet.
Firing a jet rocket as a bullet is very impractical.
It's real bad to do versus just firing a bullet.
Like, there are interesting ideas on like what it can help alleviate and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the mechanics are just nowhere near worth the effort. It's an extremely complicated thing to put together and have work, and to then make it work reliably is another problem. Then to make it work reliably in the field is just that extra fucking what? Not gonna happen.
You could have just done the same thing without the rocket and it would have probably just worked better.
Yeah, it definitely would have been cheaper to make, would have been easier to produce, would have been easier to explain how it works, and more reliable. And if it wasn't more reliable, you just get another one because it's so much cheaper.
Now, this is accounted for in the lore partially. It does tell you in the various iterations of bolter lore that they do fire as regular bullets that are just also rocket rockets afterwards. So like it fires like a bullet, and then during flight, the rocket fuel afterburner happens. It's like a solid rocket or whatever.
Sure.
Which is still dumb, but we can't say it's full gyrojet bounces off of somebody at 5 feet away.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, the idea of firing, the logistics of firing that casing and shell would be confusing to me.
Don't worry, we'll get to the worst one later.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, apparently the bolters are supposed to fire like a 75 cal.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, a rocket-propelled round, sure, whatever, but it's a .75. Do you understand how fucking huge that is? I've added in the show notes a giant fuck-off elephant gun bullet. You see that one? That's a 700. That's not even as big as a regular bolter round.
I feel like this is smaller than I expected.
Are you kidding me?
No, it really is. Because Space Marines are supposed to be the, like, first of all, it's interesting because this gets into another bit of 40K lore. Bolters were meant for killing Xenos, not other Space Marines. Horus Heresy then occurs, right?
Sure. Well, yeah, because it was, you know, the Empire expanding, whatever, yeah.
So the bolter was actually not designed to deal with Space Marine level threats, but it still gets used that way.
Yeah.
And I expect it needs more than this to take down a Space Marine. I think this kind of looks a little sad.
It's as big as a person's hand.
Yeah, but it's only like, it's like 2 fingers wide. I mean, you could have a good time.
Yeah, I guess. You're right. Except for the fact that, like, it's a really big shell, dude. Like, I feel like, so far left is a 308.
Yeah.
A 308 is a big caliber. Those are big guns. This thing is insane.
But it's got to get through the ceramite, Eric.
Sure. Take a look at that video at some point that I have linked in there, because just take a look at the recoil that this guy suffers.
Oh yeah, the bolters are supposed to be horrendous recoil in lore too. Humans don't normally carry bolters around.
Yeah, I can imagine, because he's using an actual elephant gun, shotgun, and it tries to like rip his shoulder off. And he's like well stanced, like prepared.
I do know that human grade bolters are a lower caliber than Astartes grade ones. I don't know if the human grade ones are the 75 cal though, and the Astartes ones are bigger.
I mean, the heavy bolters are bigger. The heavy bolters are like a 998.
But I'm saying like an Astartes bolter is larger than the one that like an Astra Militarum guy would carry around.
Because I can't imagine any, because like Astra Militarum is just like
normal guy.
Well, an athletic normal guy, right? Like you're not just like average American.
Sure. Average soldier,
like a 50 cal would make sense to a certain point. Like, it's big, it's gonna be a problem, but like, you know, you could probably get used to it to a certain point. You can make things happen. 75, dude, like, it's insane.
I think it sounds perfect. This is the least of my problems with the bolter.
Well, I mean, yeah, and then it's got all of the jet nonsense.
Where do you want to put the symbol of 40K's firearms?
I don't want to say. Where do you want to put it?
To me, B is for bolter. I actually have less issues with this than a different thing that is a bolter. 2 of them even. I could go as low as C if you want to argue it down there for rage.
I'm okay with a B, I guess. It's so stupid. Fine, a B.
B will take it. Less pipe bombs in the mail.
Remember this bolter for when we get to the pistol. What do you want to hit next? Let's not do the pistol. I need some time.
Let's cover the Mighty Plasma. Perhaps my favorite of the bunch. I have a personal love of flamers, right? You know my tastes in gameplay. Plasmas, from a cool factor standpoint, are basically unparalleled. Looking at this list, nothing does it for me the same way as seeing some well-painted plasma would.
Fair enough. It is very cool.
If you force me to pick an anti-tank weapon, Lascannon, solid, but very dull. Meltas, why not just take the plasma?
Why not just take the plasma? I kind of agree.
It's so much cooler.
It is. It doesn't make any sense.
It uses a fusion reactor in order to hyperheat, superheat, whatever particles into a plasma state and then fires the bolt of plasma out of it. And you can overheat it in order to get more powerful plasma, but then it could explode and take you with it.
I love it.
It is the 40Kest weapon to me in that, like,
yeah, Yeah.
The bolter I know is like Space Marines use bolters, therefore it's the 40k weapon. The plasma gun is the most 40k weapon to me, of the fact that it can just randomly kill you if you try to press your luck with it.
Yeah, that does seem about right. And like shooting essential like bullets of plasma is cool, and they look nice. Like,
they're gorgeous.
there is something to be said about this one and the arc weapons. They just look really cool when properly painted and designed and stuff like that.
If you want free points in a tier list, if you're stuck in a tier list,
If you're stuck in a tier list,
you're stuck in a tier list, and you want free points to get higher up, you should glow, is all I'm saying.
RGB is a thing for a reason.
I'm a hard S for the plasma. It may be the highest rated gun of the bunch.
I can accept it's an S tier. Yeah, I think so.
It is the 40kest weapon to me.
The solid plasma gun S tier. Okay.
Do we want to get weirder for a moment?
Okay.
Let's talk about gravity.
Oh.
Did I go too weird?
Which one do we want to start with? Let's start good and cool.
The full cannon then?
The full fucking Grav-Cannon, yes.
Okay, so grav cannons. Grav weapons in 40k.
Are so cool.
The way they work is they alter the laws of physics in an area you fire at to change gravity so that you can turn that man in power armor into soup under empty power armor.
You know, there's some fun to be had about using like the sci-fi. We're gonna alter the graviton in the local area that we shoot at, and it's gonna be, you know, instead of this constant, it's gonna be that constant, and it's gonna basically turn whatever it is super gravity and just rip the fundamental forces apart, essentially. It's cool, all right? That is fucking awesome and impractical and dumb. At the same time, if I was to think of a weapon that did that kind of thing, it would be a giant cannon.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, I'm altering gravity. It needs to be a big thing.
It's kind of my feeling on Meltas too, of like, the bigger it is, the cooler it is. You don't want this to be like a piddly little thing. You want this to feel like a no, fuck you.
Yeah, I pointed it at something, and the local gravity is now 100 times what it was. Haha, get imploded, idiot.
Yeah, and I do love that, like, the lore snippets thing for the use of the grav weapons is to kill tank crews inside of tanks and to disable enemy vehicles without the risk of exploding them, because so many things explode so badly in the 41st millennium.
That's fair. Just deal with the squishy things inside. I get it. It is weird to me to bring the Grav-Cannon up in an infantry episode.
Cataphren technically are infantry.
The Cataphren are technically infantry. You are right.
I wanted more AdMech stuff, and after you run out of arc stuff and the one rad weapon, it's like, I guess I'm going to use Cataphrens.
I think this is kind of cheating because of they're not really infantry weapons. And I think that's why I like the Grav-Cannon.
It's most of a dude. He's just got tank treads under him.
Yeah?
But he's still a dude, sort of. I mean, he's lobotomized and gone, you hope.
I feel like I want the Grav-Cannon to be A tier. I like it a lot.
I will be fine with it being A tier, but I want it below the Lasgun.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. The fact that it's basically cheating, it shouldn't be on this list.
It will get yelled at for even including it, I know. But Terminators are fine.
Yeah, right. But everything the Terminator carries is fine. Speaking of, you want to talk about the missile launcher?
Well, that's not carried by Terminators.
I know. It's not even.
Do you like out of every missile launcher I had access to, which one I picked for our picture for the tier
Oh, I
list?
love it. It's great. I couldn't be
It's
happier.
the Desolators, of course, for anyone wondering. So,
I just...
missiles in 40k. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, honestly.
Okay, I kind of hate them.
I think it's fine.
You chose an anti-tank weapon. And out of the anti-tank weapons, out of all of them, I would pick this one dead last. I'm in the 41st millennium. Why am I using an over-the-shoulder rocket shouting backblast area clear? That's lame when I could be firing a Lascannon or a Grav-Cannon or just even like a Melta.
That is true.
It's so low tier to me. I even rage baited you with the picture.
I feel like, honestly, my issue is it's designed in this way, and these are the ones that use it. Like, Space Marines shouldn't use these. This should be Gene Stealer cult kind of level, right? Like, that's the kind of, like, it should be an RPG, a missile launcher, a backblast, you know, like, that's what it should be.
Yes.
And that makes sense. I don't have the tech to make all of those fancy things. I'm just going to fire a rocket at you.
Honestly, you've hit the nail on the head there of like, if I can choose from all these high-tech options, why would I pick this? And Space Marines are the ones using it?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
If Guard and Gene Stealers or someone were the ones using this, I'd probably be more like, okay, it's a classic.
Yeah, probably be like a B of like, yeah, solid option. Good job. It would depend on how it was designed, you know, like this current design, fucking stupid. What the fuck is that chain fed?
I love the underslung extra missile launcher.
I just can't
With
even.
the chain feed.
What? Oh god, everything about it just.
It's the worst design ever, and I love it because it's the worst design ever.
It's a fucking orc weapon, all right?
It really is.
It's such a cool orc weapon, but it's just ruined. Just absolutely ruined.
You just gotta call them tank busters and paint them green.
No, that's exactly what should be done. I mean, this one is like a D. Fuck off. I hate it.
Okay.
I don't know if, like, are there other...
Looking at them, I'm shocked that they remade the missile launcher for Primaris, because basically the only thing they're in 40K that's not like a vehicle mounted like hunter killer missile or something is old Marines, and the excuse is it's from the mid 90s, get over it. But like, they decided to bring the bad idea back and make it a meme as well.
Yeah. Okay. I hate it.
Okay, let's go to something less detestable then. Let's go to the autocannon. So, what if howitzer, but you can carry it around because you're a walking tank?
Yeah, I enjoy that, like, your initial thing in our list was like, this looks like 100 cal. I'm like, reminder that the heavy bolter is a 998, so.
To be honest, very little difference. I think this might be like 20% more than a heavy bolter. But this fires like standard issue rounds, not like the rockets.
Yeah, jet propelled bullshit. It's a pretty classic looking big gun, right?
Mm-hmm. The Militarum use it in the same way, where they do the Stubber, where they, have a team go out, set up a heavy weapon team.
Yeah.
It's a neat standard weapon. It's probably the biggest standard weapon on the list. I don't think anything else comes close. Terminators can lug them around. The Terminator one that I've seen has 2 barrels and alternates which one fires.
I mean, that's basically just an assault cannon.
Well, it's not that fast though, but it's like kerchunk, kerchunk.
You know what I'm saying? This is like, that's just like, you didn't finish making your assault cannon and now you're trying to sell it as a better autocannon.
The autocannons are much bigger though. The assault cannon's probably only firing around a 75 cal, right?
Sure.
Since you're obsessed with caliber here.
It's just none of it makes, and like,
Eric the size queen.
Again, with the British don't understand size, apparently.
No, they don't understand numbers. That's why they call it maths.
Yeah, and the numbers, what do they mean? I think the autocannon's fair, fine, B or C.
Do we just throw it in C?
Sure.
It does nothing for you.
I have no real hatred towards it. You know, when we've talked about the middle tier 6 and 7 that everybody kind of feels about that's the autocannon.
The worst thing is to be unmemorable and okay.
Yeah, but it's still doing its job, so I'm okay with that, I guess. Do we want to do one of the grenades that you have on here? Because technically you wanted to talk about grenades as well. I guess they're ranged weapons.
They're ranged weapons. Though we'll get into a Krak Grenade. Let's do frag first. It's classic. Pineapple grenades.
Yeah, frag grenade's just a frag grenade.
It's literally a fragmentation grenade. It's the same as the ones we have. Theirs are even worse because they look like pineapple grenades from the 80s instead of a modern frag grenade, but whatever.
It's probably like a C. I just don't care.
Okay. Shall we do the other one then?
I think so.
So the Krak Grenade. Eric, do you know the lore behind Krak weapons?
I'm not entirely sure because I feel like it's changed from what I remember, but like, I thought a Krak Grenade was an implosion grenade.
No, it's stupid.
Oh.
I also thought there was something cool about them. I double checked. A Krak Grenade is literally just a shaped grenade charge.
Oh.
Used to get through heavy armor. Thing you throw in an area because you can't be accurate. You need something mildly in that direction gone.
It's a pack of C4 that...
No, it's like a claymore.
That you throw.
That you throw, and it needs to correctly I hate.
It's still a shaped charge, so it has to be land in the right spot.
I could argue a way to make it work where, like, you throw it and it magnetizes to a vehicle that is magnetic, you hope, and the shape charges at that direction of the grenade.
Some type of, like, sticky.
Yeah.
Sure, it's future.
Like, I can argue a way to save it, but the fact that I have to do that annoys the shit out of me.
That is weird. Yeah, it was way cooler when I thought it was an implosion grenade.
I also thought it was some sci-fi, like, some sort of BS where it would do something cool, and I'm like, what is the Krak Grenade versus a Frag Grenade? It's like, it's a shaped charge that you have to correctly aim. Like, how does that work on a grenade?
That's dumb.
So I'm putting this in D tier out of anger.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's dumb.
Eric, we can move on. I just realized we've learned what plasma is, we've learned what meltas are, and all that jazz. We can talk about Neovolkite pistols.
Oh yeah, let's go back to those fun things.
Okay, so the Neovolkite pistol is the only Volkite weapon that is 40K. Volkite was a thing in 30K because it's actually pre-Imperium technology, or pre-Horus Heresy at least.
I did not know that at all.
That's why when Call came back from being gone for 10,000 years doing the Primaris project, Neovolkite came with him, and it's like the Belisarius Call version or whatever it's called.
Sure.
But because he still remembered how to make them from back then.
Okay.
But anyways, Volkite is essentially a safe plasma. It can't overload like plasma can.
All right.
It's essentially a nuclear reactor handgun, or in 30K they had like the full gun version, that is more designed for taking down Marines and stuff than the bolter is, because it's essentially pseudo anti-tank, like the tier below anti-tank.
So like just light armor.
Yeah, light vehicle destruction type stuff. So that's why it's meant for the stuff it's meant for. But then the only version of this Call decided to make was the pistol, and give it to the lieutenant from the Indominus box, and then forget about it again.
All right. Yeah.
It's like a safe internalized plasma. It is close to how a Meltagun works. It is far closer to a Melta than anything else, but it doesn't have it's designed as an anti-tank weapon. It's designed as like a light armor weapon.
It's just a better Lasgun.
Yes, by a long shot, but yes.
With using technology of plasma or...
It's a much less infuriating Inferno Pistol. I'm not saying it's great. It is the version that doesn't make me mad. So I'd say it's like low B tier.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's not full meme, because I know you were like, Neovolkite, what does that even mean? But that's also why you didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, from everything that I know of it, it was like, the fuck is this? And like, it honestly has a fairly unique design. Yeah, I'm good with a B. Let's do the arc rifle.
It's not as cool as the arc pistol. I'm not going to try to shove them all up in S tier where I've got the arc pistol. In fact, it goes the least hard out of the three. The heavy arc rifle is way cooler.
Really?
Yeah, because it gets close to looking like plasma. I think out of the three, it's my least favorite.
I actually like the arc rifle because
it's classy.
It looks like a gun that's designed for war, right?
It's got the...
You've got some weird technology that's sci-fi going on. Got it. Understood. It's still a war-designed weapon. It has the grip. It has the stock. It has the barrel.
Yes, a classic rifle layout.
It's a gun.
Which is not the case for several other guns on our list.
You know, it's one thing, you know, the arc pistol has its flair. The Grav-Cannon, it's got flair. That's great and all. It's nice to have that this is a gun. I like it at an A, honestly.
Okay. It is up to you on that one. I would put it at B and heavy at A if I had the choice, but if you want to go opposites, whatever. Let's do heavy while we're at it. Tell me about heavy and your problem with it.
The arc pistol is cool because it's this like unique, tasers are fun, but this is like a shooty taser and I'm all like badass. And the arc rifles, okay, we're at war. Let's actually pay attention and be soldiers. And the heavy arc rifle is like, okay, but we made it bigger because Zeus has a tiny dick.
Okay.
It's just there.
It's a little petty, but all right.
At a certain point, I feel like it should be one of the other gun types. Like, you should just have...
Fair. I get that argument of, like, if I'm going to the point where I'm picking up the heavy arc rifle, why aren't I picking up a sniper or a heavy destruction device like a Melta or plasma or something?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a fine argument. Zeus having a tiny dick is weird, but...
And also, the fucking... Well, no, look at, like, the stock comparatively to the rest of the gun.
How short the stock is, yeah. GW GW art for these weapons is rough. Let's pick up your mood. We're doing Storm Bolters.
Ooh.
And specifically, I grabbed a picture of a Grey Knight Storm Bolter because if we were grading the actual Storm Bolter where you have to hold it in your hand, I think it's D tier. But the wrist-mounted Storm Bolter and having the Tony Stark Iron Man wrist rockets is way cooler. It is probably my favorite bolter on the list.
My favorite bolter on the list as well, and that's because it's so fucking stupid. We put a dual barrel on my wrist that's firing these fucking huge bullets. It's just so 40K.
I kind of love it because, like, if you're walking around in a walking tank outfit,
yeah,
why aren't you making use of the fact that you have to wear all this armor and, like, putting guns in places other than your hand?
Let's actually, instead of just being, like, extreme armor, let's actually turn it into a more mech. Let's utilize the technology.
Yeah, we gotta be Frankie from One Piece.
Hell yeah, dude.
Gotta ouchie finger him. Yeah, I'm good with A tier for it. It is a fantastic weapon, only because it goes in the wrist.
The normal one, I don't think it's a D.
It is stupid. It is the worst bolter other than one. Let's talk about it.
Oh.
Combi Weapons. The I couldn't choose, so mom said I can have both.
Yeah.
I despise combi weapons, for those who have not heard me rant about them before. Combi weapons are stupid.
Well, they're orc.
Yes. Stupid is allowed when you're an orc. When we get to orc weapons one day and do a tier list for those, stupidity is going to be a bonus.
Yeah.
The one I grabbed a picture of for our tier list is the one that made me the least mad.
Really?
The top half is a Melta pistol. The bottom half is a bolter.
Nothing is redeemable.
No. The worst one I found is the ones that are used in, like, Terminator Chaplain or someone has one. It is literally a bolter and a flamer or melta or whatever, and you glue them together left to right, and they look like normal guns before you do it. It just looks like an orc weapon.
It sounds exactly like an orc weapon as well. We'll just take two of them and put them together.
Combi weapons are stupid as hell. I hate them.
It's such a dumb idea.
I want to put it with the Inferno Pistol. It looks so much like down in the bottom of C tier. I could go to D tier if you'd let me.
I'm fine with it being at D. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yes. Sit there with that Krak Grenade.
There's no real redeeming combi.
There isn't.
Unless you're an orc, then it's fucking awesome, but...
I want a sidearm, but I want it to be, like, doubly inefficient, and I can't choose between a Melta and a bolter for some reason.
I want a sidearm that can do anything, but be terrible at it.
Should we talk about the assault cannon? The sexy chain gun?
Sure.
I love me a chain gun. Eric's played against my sots enough to know.
I should hate them, but I love them as well.
They're so cool. I was putting together for the Spiteful Idiot Army some custom Terminators from a 3D print, right?
Yeah.
I had my brother print like literally enough to make like 40 dudes and picked my favorites to make 25 out of, which is more than I'll ever need for Terminators, but I don't care because I was just enjoying the hell out of myself. But I gave 5 of them assault cannons. I have no reason to have that many, but I'm like, just in case. At some point, we may need an assault cannon per 5-man. I'll have that excuse to run 25 Terminators to get 5 assault cannons in.
It's a Gatling gun.
It's a big Gatling gun.
Gat, let's go.
Where does it belong, though? Is Gatling gun enough for A tier? Is it just B tier next to our Browning?
I think it's a B tier with that, but like, I feel bad because I know you want it to be an A tier.
It is in my heart, but I'm aware it's a very personal choice.
I think it's a B, but I'm with you. It is cool.
Let's go back to lasers. It's been a while since we've talked about a laser.
A Lascannon?
Let's talk about the Lascannon. It's barely mobile.
I fucking hate this thing.
I love Lascannons.
This is the one that, like, when I was talking earlier and I was like, we're talking infantry, but like only kind of because some of them are ship guns. This is a fucking ship gun that somebody put over their shoulder.
I'm glad you clarified. I thought you hated the Lascannon. I was like, how dare you, sir?
No.
Okay, you hate that it's on the list. That's very fair.
I hate that this exists on this infantry list.
Yeah, blame Space Marines. They'll pick up anything.
This is ridiculous. ridiculous.
I do love the Lascannon though. I love the logic behind it too of like, you can make a more powerful Lasgun the more you go up in battery size and all that. So when you get to Lascannon, you have to lug around like a whole setup, which heavy support squads in Guard even can use them the same way they use the Stubber and everything else. They got to set them up, but they can tripod it out. It's a whole setup to get the gun out there.
Right.
Whereas Space Marines just chuck it on their shoulder, grab a power pack and toss it on their back and just go walking around. It do be like that when you're a Space Marine.
Apparently it do be like that. It's cool. I can't deny that.
The gun is cool, ignoring the fact that it's just being lugged around by the Space Marine and it looks very stupid in the picture I've got.
It's just so damn stupid.
I even grabbed a Chaos Space Marine picture because it looked better than the actual old Marine that was on the other one.
The other thing is like, and I know that this shouldn't come up, but like the amount of energy to do like even the normal las guns would be more than these backpacks.
Oh, yeah.
Even with like technology that is like...
Eric, in our top pick, there's a nuclear reactor in this gun that you can hold with your hands.
Yeah, I know.
To heat up some random matter into plasma.
It's just, but like, you know, it's one of those like suspension of disbelief. This one's trying to make me remember that there is a backpack setup that needs to be associated with it, right?
I like it.
It looks better. It's just, you know, one of those like, do you want me to believe that you have like infinite energy or not?
I believe it's an A tier.
But it shouldn't be on the list.
It's legal, as much as most of the others on this list are. There's a lot of them that only get it here because of Space Marines. Let's talk about the proper Melta. I know I roasted our first run with the Melta because of the Inferno Pistol. But the actual Melta I don't have much against other than you could just be a plasma. And the plasma just looks better. But like, the Melta is fine. I kind of want to just throw it next to the bolter.
Yeah, it's like, once you accept Meltas, this seems okay.
What do you accept, Meltas? We learned about acceptance today.
Yeah, I mean, you have to jump that hurdle first. That's not a nothing, but I see you want to talk about the hand flamer next.
Ah, you noticed that, did you?
Yes, I did notice you brought that sidearm carrying Prometheum towards the front of our list. What are your thoughts on that?
Hand flamers are the least cool of the flamers. Actually, I'm about neutral between them and heavy flamers.
I think they're just some of the stupidest fucking things ever.
It's slightly more practical than a heavy flamer if I'm trying to critically think about it. Of like a handheld flamethrower with super napalm. Everything in this universe can explode and kill me. That's fine. But like, why do I want an Inferno gun?
You don't. I mean, you just don't.
Whereas a hand flamer is like, I gotta light the orc that's charging me on fire.
Then there's an orc that's on fire very close to you still.
I chose poorly for my target.
That's the thing, is like the hand flamer is one of these like there's no way you can get enough out of it, and it's your sidearm, so like whatever is very close to you is now on fire and still very close to you.
The Traitor Guard are in this bunker. You want to just turn this around the corner and spray it in there and hope you get some of them.
Fine.
It's somewhat practical. On the grand ski, on the 40K curve.
On the 40K practicality, I can see it being a bit more useful than an Inferno Pistol. But like, I feel like more people are going to die to their own Prometheum tank sidearm than killing anything else.
I'll put it here in C tier somewhere.
Yeah.
While we're getting rage-worthy pistols out of the way, you want to do the bolt pistol?
Yeah, sure. That's a gyrojet gun.
So this gets into the problem, right? The argument that the bolter isn't strictly worse than a normal gun is no, it fires like a normal gun, and then it's better because it also then does the second stage rocket thing.
Right. So you still get all of the recoil kick.
Sure. You still get all the recoil kick, but then it goes a little faster.
Yeah.
The close range sidearm, a bolt pistol, where you would need time for your projectile to speed up enough to actually do the full amount of damage you're claiming it's going to, which I'll give you on the proper bolter, sure, maybe. You're doing this from 5 feet away?
Yeah, because like the proper bolter is like, you know, an assault rifle. You're shooting reasonably far. Yeah, okay.
This is full gyrojet meme territory.
It is.
This is a D tier weapon.
Let alone the fact that like, okay, the thing is like, oh, you still fire the bullet out of it.
It's still a normal gun, and a big one at that.
Yeah, it's a huge gun, but like, fuck. That's not actually that beneficial as a pistol.
Think about that elephant shell sitting in
In your pistol that has no way of, I'm just gonna completely shatter my wrist and then the gun's gonna smack me in the face and kill me. Brilliant.
This is why it's mostly used by Astartes.
At which point, get something better or just fucking punch him in the face.
I will remind you that plasma pistols exist.
They do.
Speaking of, let's throw this in a D tier.
Yeah.
Put it down with the combi weapon. You know what? Put it down with the shotgun.
All right, fine.
And let's talk about the sidearm you should be equipping yourself with if you are cool enough, which is the plasma pistol.
Hell yeah, boy.
Is it as cool as the proper plasma gun? No. But as far as sidearms go, it's probably close to the coolest. I do think style points wise, the arc pistol.
The arc pistol's the coolest. The plasma pistol is extremely cool, and also that's the weapon you would want if you had options.
Yeah, it's just don't overcharge it unless you're looking to go out like a champ.
Which, if you're in the situation of needing to pull your sidearm, that's when an overcharge would kind of make sense, right? I'm already fucked.
Also, there's the weirdness, getting into lore for a moment, there's the weirdness of, in some lore, like in the Alfarius book, which granted is Horus Heresy era, so maybe it's better plasma. Early in the book, he's firing his plasma pistol in a close range encounter, right? And he's firing it a lot. In my head, I'm going, this is a poor show of plasma. It hasn't exploded and taken his hand off yet.
Right.
And immediately as I'm having this thought, he realizes his plasma pistol is overheating and whips it at a dude to explode him.
All right, yeah.
So if your plasma pistol just becomes a grenade instead of actually blowing your hand off when you overcharge it, that's dope.
Yeah, if you can actually look at it and be yep, it's gonna blow up. There's no downside to the plasma pistol, essentially. It's just a good sidearm.
The problem is, gameplay wise, it definitely does kill you, so I'm going with the one in Alfarius is Horus Heresy era where it's better.
Yeah, all right.
But it's still up there.
You still get the choice to decide if you want to overcharge it.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like anytime I'm going to be pulling my sidearm out, I'm probably pretty fucked. And
yeah, you're probably 50-50 dead.
You're overrun. That's when I'm okay with being yeah, guess so.
This gun may kill me, but if I've got it out, I'm probably dead anyway, so I might as well maximize what I can do on my way out.
And maybe it works out in my favor. Probably not, but maybe. So yeah, I think it's an S tier.
Okay.
It's not quite as cool looks wise as the arc pistol, but
yeah,
it's close. It's got flavor to it. It's got the sci-fi-ness. I like it.
For anyone looking for the plasma cannon in this list, I have not added it because I couldn't find any unit that actually is an infantry unit with a plasma cannon. They get used all the time on vehicles, but we're capping out a plasma gun.
I'm sure that there's probably some Space Marine somewhere.
Some 50 people in the comments will remind me there's something beyond plasma gun that someone can carry.
I'm so looking forward to the comments about all of the guns. This is based on the Storm Tiger.
And it's not even the one we have in our tier list. It's the one that Borrelio put later.
Yeah.
That we've never seen.
Yeah.
Because he found a better picture.
Instead of whatever the fuck some of this shit is.
Oh, yeah. I grabbed the laziest pictures. You guys are lucky you get whatever Borrelio sends you.
Do you want to do the Grav-Gun next?
Sure, we can do the Grav-Gun. It's not nearly as cool as the Grav-Cannon.
No.
We can even do the Grav-Pistol at the same time, is it?
I'm fine with that because the Grav-Pistol is a D. It is fucking stupid.
I like the Grav-Pistol more than I like the Inferno Pistol.
It's so boring.
You whip your Grav-Pistol out and just turn the guy charging you into goo on the ground?
No, it's dumb. It would just make them have a better exercise.
I don't think it's that weak.
It should be if we're in any amount of the Grav-Cannon is...
You let me place the Inferno Pistol, I'll let you place the Grav-Pistol. I have no real attachment to it. The Grav-Cannon is up and anywhere it should be. The Grav-Gun in the middle is kind of just lame. The Grav-Cannon's cooler.
The Grav-Gun makes some sense.
Right, it's a carryable without problems anti-tank weapon.
Yeah, alright. And it's still, you're manipulating gravity, so that's still kind of cool. And it's not a dopey pistol Pistol. Because it's just something that I cannot get past of like, if you're going to be manipulating gravity, you have to have big thing. The bigger it is, the more gravity it does. That's how gravity works.
That's how gravity work. Man with physics background.
I mean, I'm not entirely wrong either, though. Like, as dumb as it is, it's just like, the Grav-Gun seems like fine.
Okay, where do we want to put it? In B with the rest of the fines? Hang out with the Meltagun.
Yeah, fair enough.
Talking of the Meltagun, let's talk about the Multi-Melta.
Ooh, the Multi-Melta.
The one that is most arguable for its job. I'm going to lug around the biggest Melta I can physically carry because my job is to delete something. The Multi-Melta, so you know, you don't fire both barrels at once. It is so that you can fire it multiple times.
I agree, and that's why I actually don't like it.
Why?
Because they're too close.
Yeah, I get your argument there if the barrels are too close.
No. Like, okay. Like, it's dumb. It's petty. But hear me out, okay? That's the point of having two of them, because, like, having two of them, like the heavy flamer, is fucking stupid.
Yeah. This is more like when you have a double-barreled autocannon or something.
Yeah. So it's like, I use one. That one is on its cooldown.
You get an extra couple seconds before you warp a barrel.
Yeah. Switch over to the other one. I can still keep going. I'm good to go. And we'll just toggle back and forth between our cooldowns like some MMO. But they're so fucking close to each other.
I did just check. Even the newer Eradicator one, the barrels touch.
Yeah, it's all one package, essentially. And I'm not saying that ruins it for me, because I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if I were to design that, how would I do it with, like, splitting them up, but also make it not just the dopiest looking thing ever, right? I don't know of a way to do that.
It would have to physically get larger like the double-barreled autocannon.
Maybe, yeah.
Where, like, it'd have to be Terminator-sized.
Yeah, at which point it's like you've missed the mark somehow of, like, the original idea that you had of, like, okay, you're lugging around this backpack and you've got, yeah. That's my issue with it.
All right, where do we want it then? It's not S, it's not D.
Like I said, I don't hate it. It's neither of those.
I don't think it's C either. I think it's A or B, but I don't know where.
I feel like it's high B, but I could see a low A if that's what you're interested in.
It can hang out with the mighty Stubber.
All right, yeah. It's got the right profile from looks.
Shall we finish off our collection of lasers?
I like lasers.
I am fond of all three remaining lasers.
All right, let's go with the fancy Hellgun.
Okay, hear me out.
This one, I'm interested to hear some lore on. Is this just a fancy, expensive Lasgun that's not for the general grunt?
Correct, but also it comes with the downside of they are harder to charge up, so they often require you to have a small backpack.
Okay.
And they're a bit unwieldy, and they are more expensive to produce.
So it's not just we produced a shit ton of Lasguns, and these are the ones that perform better. So
No. They do take more energy and everything. That's why they often have a tube coming off them to like a small backpack.
All right, that makes more sense. This was one that like I legitimately was like, there has to be some type of lore, because like it's got a name of Hellgun.
No, so they tend to get used by like the stormtrooper equivalent, the like whatever your elite infantry is, who's going to need to be able to pack a punch and do something.
All right.
They're like the thing below going full heavy weapon squad.
Right. I can understand realistically it being an infantry gun.
Right. It's much closer to a standard heavier infantry gun in real life.
Yeah. Where it's like, that's going to be a pain in the ass to lug around, but you could do it. I like it. I think it's cool.
I love the name Hotshot too. Getting into it, like certain IG weapons have those perfect slang names that you know it's got the real life equivalents.
It feels so, this is a gun nut, this is an army grunt that named their weapon that, and everybody's just kind of accepted that, yeah, that's what it's called now.
I also love the idea of like the guy who gets it calls it a Hellgun, and the guy who has to stare at that guy calls it the Hotshot gun, which is just, it's not, sir, I'm not insulting you. It's a hotter running gun. It's not me calling you a hotshot.
But there was that Top Gun scene where you're a fucking hotshot.
I love it. I want to put it in A tier with the Lasgun.
I think so, yeah.
And then we've got the classic Laspistol, the sidearm you're actually going to be given because you're not important.
Star Wars.
If you're important enough to get a sidearm.
Pew, pew. That's true.
Star Wars blaster pistol, whatever you want to call it when you look at it.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. I have no problems with it. It's obviously the weakest of the Las things because, again, you need a larger battery and all that, which I kind of like is properly handled lore-wise for the reason Lasguns are the way they are the whole way through. I don't know, B?
I feel like it's a B or C, but it's got such an iconic profile.
Yeah. I want to put it with the Stubber, actually.
That's fine.
We'll keep it above the Bolter. Make the Bolter know its place.
The last laser.
The Long Las. My favorite name for a sniper rifle.
I still can't believe that's the actual name that they went with.
I love it.
It's got the same, like, Hellgun hotshot.
Yeah. It's got the obvious name. It's the nickname the gun got, and everyone just calls it by it because it's Hand Me the Long Las.
Yeah, and there's a certain aspect of that is... There's a great story that's shown, not told.
Yes. The name makes you smile because you think of how it happened.
Yeah, I actually really like it.
I want to put it right next to the other two. The Lasguns basically live in A tier for the most part. I love them.
Yeah, the only, like, pistol is, like...
The pistol has the problem
Pew,
of, like,
pew.
you want to be important enough that you get a plasma pistol.
Yeah.
And also, Star Wars is overrated.
Maybe, but, like, it's still cool.
I just like making nerds on the internet fight me.
Yeah, right.
It is, though. They have, like, 2 good movies out of 12.
I'm glad you checked the P.O. box. Heavy bolter.
This is the real rocket launcher.
This is... yeah.
This is the real rocket launcher. This is why does the rocket launcher exist when the heavy bolter exists?
There shouldn't even be, like, magazines or something like this. Like,
a lot of them are belt fed. The one I grabbed a picture of is not, but most of them are belt fed because this is the equivalent of, like, the light machine gun for, which is more a heavy machine gun for Space Marines.
Okay, that makes sense. This is like you put 2 bolts in it.
Yeah.
Great. What the fuck is the point?
Ignore the random picture I sent. I actually think of all the bolters, this is my favorite. Because of all the bolters, this one most has the argument for how bolters work. It's the midway point between a real-life light machine gun and a real-life rocket launcher, which is very 40K.
It is very 40K, and there is some, all right, if you're going to be firing such large calibers, this is what you want to do, and this is what you want to kill. You're essentially using a rocket launcher.
So we're going to stick it right with the Storm Bolter as the 2 cool bolters.
I'm good with that. It is absurd to think of a heavy bolter as a infantry weapon, but...
Let's take one moment to talk about the grenade launcher. I was ready to D tier until I saw Custodes variation.
Fuck you for having this one as the picture.
This is such a better idea for a grenade launcher, and it's Custodes representation because I didn't use a Guardian Lance.
So stupid, and then you're like, yeah, but what if we put a noob tube on the arm? And I'm like, god damn it, that makes sense.
If anyone's gonna have a noob tube on his wrist, it's a Custodian.
Fuck you, that actually makes some sense.
It's so perfectly
like,
Custodes. It's like actual... I was ready to D tier when I was like, oh right, grenade launchers exist in 40K, and then I saw that the ballistic grenade launcher exists in Custodes and it's the wrist rocket thing, and I'm like, the noob tube on the forearm is the funniest shit. I love it. Instant S tier to me.
Yeah.
This is sitting here gatekeeping S tier. I love it.
I hate that you managed to make it. Like, you're absolutely right.
I was fully ready to grab a generic crappy one, throw it in D tier, and move on with the shotgun.
That's what it should be.
But we found the Custodes one.
It's good. Good job.
It's so good. It's so stupid and fun. All right. To me, the final S tier is the Mighty Flamer.
Just the normal...
Your standard issue flamer. A flamethrower that's been juicing. I love flamers in gameplay. Everyone in our play group is very sick of auto-hitting D6s. It's been the entire time we've played.
The expectation when you shoot.
It's what I do. I have more fondness for the Flamer than any other thing the Imperium has to offer. I still think the plasma gun is better than it though, but I have more emotional attachment to the Flamer, but the plasma gun is like peak 40k.
Plasma has more sci-fi. There's more that you can do with it. Painting. I do like that the Flamer it's like a real weapon.
Yes, it has decent design philosophies. If we don't start looking into like real gun nerd stuff, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's also kind of cool, right? Like, it's not the fucking shotgun.
Correct.
Like, they made something that's like, it's cool. I'm fine with it in S, but I don't think it's like high.
We'll put it above the plasma pistol.
Okay, which one of the AdMech rifles do you want to hit?
Let's do the Arquebus.
Yeah, something like that. The Transuranic or whatever the fuck it is. So the Arquebus is like an Ottoman Empire gun.
I love it from the sheer meme factor of you've got the entire squad has a normal base size, but the guy with the Arquebus has a double long base because he has his stupid long sniper rifle that's on not even a tripod, it's on like
it's just a pole.
stick.
Yeah. Well, like that's basically what they did though, I'm pretty sure. Like, if any of the other games that I've played, like Total War and Age of Empires, have anything to say about it, that's what it did. Is like they just carried it around as a stick.
I kind of love the absurdity of it. I don't think it's that special compared to like the Arc Pistol or anything, but it's pretty cute.
I rather like it. It's got a lot of like antique vibes that are like, why is this in sci-fi? But all right, I want to argue it's an A. I really do think it's cool.
That's where I was putting it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, cool. All right. I was like, but you're gonna try and tell me that like I'm insane because like look at it. It's a.
I was totally ready for it, honestly. So to go to the other end of the spectrum, let's talk about the Rad Carbine for a moment. This is the only radiation-based weapon that I put on here.
I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 of them anyways.
Yeah.
Because I think, is it only AdMech Qatari that use them?
Yes, because it's considered basically war crime territory, and it's very stupid to carry one in the first place.
It kills you as well. It's just, hopefully it kills your enemies quicker.
And if you're enough machine, then you can delay the inevitable. It's a very dumb weapon. You should not use one. I could say it's very 40k and how grimderp it is, but I don't think it saves it in any way. I'd say it's like the top of D tier. I don't want to give it too much thought, but it angers me for things like it works on Necrons.
It works on Oh, yeah.
Just because in game it works on Necrons. It's like, why?
Does it still have projectiles? Or is it literally just shooting radiation?
I honestly don't know to that detail, and it's not that helpful on things like the crappy wikis. So,
either way.
Yeah, I think top of D tier, we just move on forgetting about it. We can do the Galvanic Rifle to finish off AdMech. We delayed quite a few of these.
It looks out of place just being like a flintlock rifle.
AdMech always looks out of place though.
I love it.
I think it suffers from the arc weapons are cooler. I would just toss it at the bottom of B tier.
Ooh.
Aesthetically, I love it. It's got the very dopey, like it's got a revolver setup.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's very neat. It's very out of place, but it's in place within AdMech. Do you want to raise it higher than B? Is that why you're humming me?
Yeah. I know that this one's personally, I think this silhouette is very cool.
True.
To me, that's how rifles are cool.
Let's put it next to the mighty Stubber.
B tier, I'm good with.
Okay.
But I really do like that silhouette.
So there's one last thing that I didn't put on the list on purpose, but you did add it, which is the Psilencer.
It's a gun.
To me, it was an assault cannon, and I've already covered it, but give us your excuse.
No, but it shoots psychic energy. This is the true cast gun.
So it's just like when I cast a spell now. This is the gun that casts spell.
I don't know why it has 3 barrels. I don't know why it has any of this shit.
If it's shooting psychic stuff.
You're a psyker. Use your psychic. Why do you have to involve a gun in this?
This is why I kind of kept the psi weapons off this, because they're a little weird.
Yeah, but like the rest of them are still...
They are still firing a projectile. They're just psychically enhanced.
It's a gun that we just made better with psychic.
Yeah, I didn't put psych out grenades either for like an anti-psyker weapon that got into a hole.
Yeah, but like the Psilencer is a gun that does nothing other than shoot psychic.
So this gun is 10th edition, you're saying? S tier.
S tier for 10th edition.
It can sit next to the grenade launcher. That's a wrist rocket.
Like other than that, like I think it's probably like a C.
It is actually a C tier. I'm going to put it in C tier. I can't keep that joke.
It looks cool, but what the fuck is this?
Yeah, solidly down in C. That thankfully wraps this up 2 hours into this recording.
I'm glad we didn't go with all of the weapons.
I'm very glad that before I was like, we'll just cowboy it on the fly, I was like, I should count this up and research this before I bite off more than I can chew.
That was a good quick check. I think we did a good job of here's the unique ones without wasting too much.
Yeah, and it means we get to come back several times, if people like this at least.
We're definitely going to do one on orc weapons at some point. I refuse not to talk about orc weapons.
I do think we'll do probably one for, I think Eldar have enough unique weapons alone that we can do them as a pool.
They've got some pretty unique ones too, yeah.
I think Tau honestly has a lot too.
Yeah, especially if we start adding in some things like the drones and stuff like that, yeah.
But we should come back to Imperium for melee, because I mean, the Thunderhammer has to get rated.
Yes, it does. Hammers.
We'll wait until Eric gets a codex and praise before we start talking about hammers in front of him. It's a touchy subject for Grey Knight players.
It is. It actually is. But yeah, there's the definitive ranking on weapons in 40K for Imperium ranged infantry.
Yeah, so if you liked this or not or whatever, please share your opinions with us. All the YouTube pleasantries would also help. You know the deal. Also, once you're done with your YouTube pleasantries, if you're interested in more of us for some reason, over on our Patreon, we did a whole bonus hot takes first reaction thing of us seeing the announcements from Adepticon, including AOS 4th edition launching. I will warn you, it's not the most positive reception for me. I was a little sour.
And also, like, we're not primary AOS, but I think it should be fun to listen to us complain. And merch, still there.
We do have the new merch. We have the old merch. It's all there, except for objective markers are coming back soon. And then we also have the Fall of Cadia book club at the end of next month. The week of April 29th, we'll be doing the Fall of Cadia. Once again, reminder, it's like a 20-hour book. You should probably start on it.
Yeah, gotta do that.
All right, that's it for us. Goodbye.
What a weird exit.
I don't know.
Goodbye. After 2 hours of talking about guns.
I'm tired.
Sci-fi guns. Bye.